Live your life, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conspiracy Farm, where we don't start the conspiracies, we just add the water. And now, your host of the most state-of-the-art, most informed podcast on the interweb, I present to you Pat Miletich and Jeffrey Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for war?
Yeah, rear naked choke a Cocker Spaniel, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Change the neighborhood up.
Conspiracy Farm. Go. Check it out.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Welcome back. Another episode for the Archives of the Farm on this fine May 9th year of our Lord 2023. I'm riding shotgun as always with my partner in crime, UFC Hall of Famer, Eater of Worlds, Master of the Tango, Patrick J. Miletich. What's up, champ?
Good hearing from you, Jeffrey. And there's some straight fuckery going on in the world.
There's something happening here. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, please support the farm. Obviously, you're following the farm. That's cool. Check us out on Twitter at Conspiracy Farm 1. And when you're there, man, slide. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, jump in those DMs and let us know. We want to hear from you guys. So check us out at Twitter, Conspiracy Farm 1. And yeah, there is quite a bit of madness going on in the world. It's one of those, today's just going to be headlines, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have a guest. We're just going to be chopping it up, shooting the shit. And God, there's all kinds. Where do we start? Where do we start today, champ?
Let's start at the border with 700,000 people minimum pouring into the nation right now after Proposition 42 was not basically renewed, right?
Yeah, I saw images of it. I mean, obviously you have to look out for dis and misinfo, but I saw a picture. It was this like sea of people, but apparently it was from 2018. But I do hear there is quite a few folks coming up from not just Mexico, Nicaragua, Central America, South America. Yeah, trying to get into the good old U.S. and A.
Well, and they're sending literally, like, what are they sending, mail to these people, telling them to come to America? Because they're pouring in these caravans northward into the country, and it's just, it's like the Cloward Piven tactic on nukes.
Yeah,
you know, it's just one of the fronts that we're dealing with in terms of this country unraveling. And you've got organizations like the Red Cross, the Catholic Church, many other organizations who are getting paid massive amounts of money, billions of dollars, to assist and aid in this invasion, right? And I have no ill will towards any human being. I want people to come here, actually, just legally, like my ex-wife did. But the way this is being done, it's look, people aren't getting to the border, and the border officials and the immigration people aren't going, okay, what did you do in your former country? Oh, you were a coal miner and farmer? Okay, you're going to go to Iowa, southern Iowa, because there's coal mines and cornfields there, like they did with my ancestors, right?
Yeah.
They're just providing them with money, shelter. You know, I was even asked if I wanted to go to Texas and serve as a guard for a hotel full of illegals. I was going to be paid $800 a day to be a guard, to guard illegal children, actually, a hotel full of illegal children. And I thought, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm good. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, because, I mean, ultimately, especially as it relates to the kids, this porous border obviously is not by accident. It's multi-pronged Trojan horse kind of effect. You know, these guys come up in here, get all this free shit, and, you know, guess which way they're going to vote, because sometimes they're being allowed to vote. But this is straight up human trafficking, especially child trafficking. Some of these kids coming through with people that aren't in any way related to them, and it's absolutely next level, man. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the level of people they're capturing and the numbers of, I mean, in the millions, it's just next level. And it's one of those, I mean, it's 2023. This whole like, oops, you know, it's not incompetence. It's not malfeasance. It's absolutely deliberately done to, again, multi-pronged effect. But yeah, this is not by accident, dude. This is absolutely not by accident. And it is an invasion. And like you said, these organizations that seemingly on paper are providing these benevolent resources, whatever, they're facilitating this shit. Absolutely. Same with like the UN. I mean, this has been going on for a very long time. And, you know, as we like to say on the show, IAOC, baby, it is all organized crime. And that's the other thing. Go to tcf-store.com or TCF-store, I think it is. Yes. It'll be the link in the description. But, yeah, support the farm. Check out some of our tees, man. Pick up your Got Truth t-shirt and your IAOC. It's all organized crime. All of those proceeds go to help support the farm. But, yeah, man, it's absolutely frustrating to see this. And the way they spin it, the way they attempt to put this silk hat on a pig, it's just like, this is Trump's fault. It's next level, dude. Next level.
Well, and they're trafficking the children. They're trafficking the organs. They're just trafficking human beings. That's what they're doing.
Human beings, drugs, guns, arms. I mean, this is a part of the black market economy we talk about all the fucking time on this show. And again, the level of the weaponization of it. This gets into like the ideological subversion that we talk about all the time. Like this flood of people coming in here is not by accident because they're going to weaponize these folks to vote a certain way, amongst other things. I mean, and this goes back to like the Roman Empire, the fall of the Roman Empire. This is what precipitated it, not just the barbarians kicking the shit out of them, but the allowance of so many different illegal immigrants into the country. Weakened the empire from within.
And let me tell you something. Because of the massive influx of immigrants that have come here, it is now a royal pain in the ass just to renew your driver's license. Like, you've got to prove that you're all kinds of a U.S. citizen. But they're giving yet driver's license and literally identifications to illegals so that they can vote in California and a few other places
across the
country. They can drive cars, so they can drive semis, so they can, all this other crazy shit. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I've got to jump through so many fucking hoops to renew my driver's license. It's ridiculous.
Well, and it's like they don't need to have Dominion or Diebold voting machines to influence election. You just let a bunch of fucking illegals come in and give them free shit, and you know which way they're going to vote. So it's next level, man. It really is. And, of course, Biden has announced he's going to run another term, which, obviously is a vote for Kamala Harris because that dude's not going to be around. Jesus, he could.
Biden hasn't run in 20 years. That has a duality of meaning.
No, exactly. It's a clown show, man. It really is. I mean, I know people say this all the time online. It's just absolutely a clown show. And we're going to get into like more stories today with, which just illustrates not only is it all organized crime, it's a fucking clown show. It's a bizarro world. We've talked about so many times in the show on how we've just witnessed for years the inversion of reality. You see stuff go down and you like look at yourself and look at other people like, did that just happen? And then you get the shit, and then you get gaslit. It's like, no, you didn't see that. No, that's not an open border. That's not, you sit here and don't believe your lying eyes type thing, and it's next level, man. Next level.
Yeah, so, like I said, going back to, we've been talking about this since the beginning of this podcast in terms of immigration, Catholic Church. I believe, is it the Lutheran or Methodist Church is heavily involved? I can't remember because it's been so long since we, got into the weeds on that subject. It's just been going on so long that it's kind of like, whatever. It's done. Like it's a lost cause. It's just take all the fences down, remove all the border patrol. Let's just have a one world, happy family, and no borders, man. No borders.
It's just and they've been doing
one world order.
Whether it's our southern border or just borders in general. I mean, this has been their plan for a very, very long time, and they're inching ever so much closer with especially with China doing what they're doing, man. I mean, I talk about it all the time, how the grand chessboard, the powers on the global stage are shifting. We're now seeing China trying to be us, brokering deals with Saudi Arabia and Iran, setting up trade deals with BRIC nations and moving away from the dollar and all that's going on. This is, again, not by accident. And this is all a part of that one belt, one road strategy. If you look at what's going on in Sudan right now, it's a huge deal. It's basically the president and vice president fighting for power and control of not just the country, but the resources and that whole area, the Horn of Africa. That's right where, you come in through the Gulf of Aden, the Red Sea, going up to the Suez Canal. This is all part of that one belt, one road. And I was saying this for years, man. Wherever we see different conflicts in the world, you can almost guarantee, not all the time, but most of the times, these are areas where they do the ordo ab chaos. They create the chaos and then bring order to the chaos. They create it to help facilitate this belt and road thing, whether it's the South China Sea, whether it's the Spratly Islands, whether it's the Horn of Africa, whether it's Ukraine. This is where all this stuff is popping off, man. And specifically in Sudan, you have, what is his name, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. He's the head of the Sudanese armed forces, and he's going against basically his vice president, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, I think his name is. But yeah, they're just sitting here battling over who controls that area, because there's all kinds of, Russia's building a base right there. Like I said, China's coming through, setting up all their shop, with the mining rights of their gold and the petroleum and all this other stuff. It's next level, man. It's next level. And it's happening right in front of us. And as we talked about with General Flynn, China's doing all this without even firing a shot. They're getting other people to fire shots for them, but they're not really doing shit. They're taking it over.
Yeah, and the thing is, if accepted, the new proposed BRICS members technically would have a gross domestic product, I think, roughly 30% larger than the United States, and certainly well over, I believe, 50% of the population of the planet, and a control of a lot of the world's energy resources.
Without a doubt. And anytime you see Russia making moves, you almost have to just by default assume China's in it as well, because they are tag team partners in this new multipolar world order. Because Russia is sitting on all the natural gas, all the oil. I mean, you got some other countries too, but I mean they're just locking down Eurasia, and it's crazy because it's, in my opinion, it's being allowed to happen. And this goes back to, I think, when Kissinger and Nixon, quote unquote, opened up China. That's when these relations started being formed. And then in the 90s, you had Bill Clinton handing over a lot of tech to the Chinese. So this is being facilitated by,
So what do you think would be going on right now if Reagan was president, or maybe even Trump? Would he be saying, if Saudi Arabia goes to the BRICS nations and starts to do deals in currencies that are not American greenbacks, we're going to level your entire country, or we're going to do something. We're going to remove, the Saudi sheikhs. What do you think would be going on?
It's hard saying, because I mean they're all in it, in my opinion. I think Trump might have went about it a different way, but we've speculated on this. I think Biden was brought in to do what he's doing now, and Trump wasn't allowed to stay back in for many reasons. The stealing of the election to piss off the right, et cetera, et cetera. But we've speculated, and this isn't a Q thing, for the love of fucking God, that if Trump is allowed or comes back in, he's going to do this like massive cleaning house, not just like white hat cleaning house. It's going to be freaking Pinochet on steroids. Because we've talked about it, like the inversion of reality. We watched that summer where they burnt everything down. Again, this was allowed to happen. So again, that problem, reaction, solution, they let it trick off and go so far to the left. So the correction to the right will be, equally as extreme. I don't know. We'll see. But again, it's we're living in some crazy, crazy times, man. And it is weird to see literally this global grand chessboard shifting literally right in front of us. And it's not necessarily good for America, quite frankly, because the dollar, we're losing value in the dollar. They keep printing all this freaking money, and the dollar's losing its value on its own. Then you got these countries moving away from utilizing the dollar in a big way. Brazil, Russia, India, China. It's I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I can go through, so we know that Argentina and Iran, Turkey, Egypt, Afghanistan, are all interested, have applied. We're looking at Kazakhstan, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Senegal, Thailand, United Arab Emirates. And here's the thing, all had their finance ministers present at the BRICS expansion dialogue meeting held this month, actually. These are just some of the countries that are, looking to jump on board. Pakistan, of course, Russia's already in there. Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Belarus, Cambodia, Egypt, Kuwait, Maldives, Mongolia, Myanmar, Nepal, Saudi Arabia, Sri Lanka, Turkey, Turkmenistan, Qatar. So, yeah, they're all in dialogue, basically. You got India wanting to jump. This is serious stuff, dude. I think it's not if, it's when this happens.
Exactly.
The hyperinflation that hits this country, gas is going to be $10 a gallon. and we're going to be, yeah, we're going to be in a spiral, bro. We're going to be in a spiral, and that we know what happens next. Said it numerous times on this show throughout history. Again, it's always been basically abuse the citizens financially and psychologically and all other different ways, piss them off, put them in poverty. And when they're just ready to jump their politicians, you start a diversion and a war. And then everybody's anger turns towards other nations, and then the big wars trick off, and that's what they're trying to get going really in the Ukraine. And I don't think they've got enough. They feel they've got enough support from U.S. citizens to really pull it off yet. They've got to escalate it just like they did World War I and World War II. It took quite a while to get America involved, right?
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And it's I mean, one of the things we wanted to bring up, but I guess we kind of sped it up here, but like the drone attack on the Kremlin, which is absolutely laughable, in my humble opinion, was a false flag. Like anything else, like so many other things will be used to escalate, because they're framing it as like this was an assassination attempt on Putin. I'm like, this little fucking from the Ukrainian border to Moscow is 300 miles. Now, is this drone, was it launched inside of Russia, or it just seems to me, even the video hitting the freaking...
Did you see the sticker on the side of the drone?
No.
It said Fisher Price.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And it's like, going back to like 9/11 and the Pentagon, like how was anything allowed to get even close to the Pentagon? Did they not have some surface-to-air missiles that would take this thing out? And this Russian chick I work with, she's like, no, it flew low enough and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. Get out of here.
It was a 747 expert pilot named Abdul.
Right.
Just over the oak trees.
But I think this will be utilized to escalate this whole thing. And, it happens to coincide with the spring offensive that Ukraine's about to do. And they just had their victory parade or whatever today or yesterday. Well, I think it was today. I mean, I don't know, man.
Well, if it's any respite, and kind of relief from all the stress going on in the world, we have, and women everywhere and girls everywhere, have the LGBTQ Pride Month coming up in June to look forward to.
Sweet.
With piss all over toilet seats.
What?
From the transgender men that are pissing all over toilet seats.
Yeah. Well, just drink yourself a Bud Light, Patrick. You'll feel a lot better.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, switching into the psychological operation of all of this stuff and the transgenders. Fast forward from the Weimar Republic in the 30s, where transgenderism was exploding, to today, Dylan Mulvaney, Bud Light, Nike or Adidas or Nike bras, sports bras, and all this craziness. If the folks out there in America haven't figured out that the high-profile Dylan Mulvaney transgenders of the world are literally paid actors by the CIA. This is
literally
a straight psyop.
Yeah.
Where these people are being paid to turn your brain inside out and cook it with a curling iron. That you got to pull your head out of your ass and just laugh at these people. At the same time, though, there's so many people that are so sick psychologically, mentally poisoned by our environment, which that's the thing that I try to explain to people is that, again, same German chemical companies.
Yeah.
IG Farben, Bayer, the Pfizers, the Mercks, all that bullshit that was going on in the Weimar Republic, how they were poisoning people with the water and getting toxins into soil and water, however they were doing it back then. It resulted in a lot of disease in Germany. It resulted in a lot of transgenders, an explosion in all kinds of mental issues. And so it literally, we're seeing the, fast forward 90 years, we're seeing it again. We're seeing it again, identical.
Yeah.
These people being used as a psychological operation. And our country is being set up for the fall, is what it is. We are literally Germany in 1939, 1935 at this point. And so people have to wake up before it's too late and understand that no, your child is not supposed to think they're another gender. No, they're not. I'm sorry. I don't know how many pharmaceuticals you're on,
And you're
But
not a
maybe
bad
try and
parent
off
if
your
you don't.
pharmaceuticals
Yeah.
and straighten your shit out and be a parent and understand that your child is sick and you need to address it and do some research on how to fix the hormonal issues that your child is suffering from and straighten that shit out, because no, it's not fucking normal, period.
Well, take a look at parents. Take a look at atrazine before you start giving them puberty blockers, and that's the other thing. You're not a bad parent if you want to listen to your child. I mean, whatever. A good parent always wants to listen to their child, but when you start doing shit and taking measures like you're giving him puberty blockers, and this kid recently, because he was given puberty blockers so early, and they tried to do this whatever surgery on him. I mean, the kid died.
That's not love. That's not love.
The kid died, basically. As long what I'm saying is the kid died because he got puberty blockers too early and all this other shit. But it's like, you have to be, I don't know, the Motion Picture Association of America, don't you have to be 17 to go into a fucking R-rated movie, or 18 to vote or buy cigarettes, and 21, but yet you can get a fucking reassignment surgery as a child? Come on now. The fuck out of here.
And if you don't agree with it in California as a parent, they'll just take your kid from you and do it for you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, again, if you were sitting, I mean, you just like look at like what the that what the fuck look on your face, like what?
Well, and that's the thing.
But they will.
They are so full bore coming after the children, because after we're gone, then imagine the percentage of the society of, like, look at the 20 and 30-year-olds now, how many of them have been polluted by toxins and are just completely fucked, right? Health-wise, psychologically, hormonally, all these things, right? So, but the thing is, we've got to look at the things that, like, who the fuck does Chelsea Clinton think she is? You see these things? I posted this on my page. I've got to find it now.
That poor child, I'm sorry, even dating back to when she first popped on the scene, and I'm sorry to sound so petty, but that poor bitch looked like she fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down, dude. That chick got slided by some bad genes, dude. She is not an attractive human being. I know that sounds terrible and petty, but I mean, she comes from Hillary Clinton, which,
What do you think? They're all inbreds, bro.
I know, but I'm just like, I'm sorry. That sounds like really petty and shit, but dude, she's just been like hideous as the day is long since I laid eyes on that girl, man.
All right.
And I'm wondering, she's like married.
Quote.
She's married, I think has kids, and I'm just like,
You want to hear her quote?
yes. I think I heard about the kid, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Chelsea Clinton has declared that unvaccinated children in America must be forced to take the mRNA jab with or without parental consent. Say you want to get your ass kicked without saying you want your ass kicked.
That's what I was about to say, dude. Like, good luck with that. Wow.
They're calling it the big catch up, catching up for all the people that didn't get vaccinated. We're going to go ahead. It's going to last 18 months, according to Bill Clinton's daughter. Aims to become the largest childhood immunization effort in history. Again, her statement, it's time to force jab every unvaccinated child in America with or without parental consent. I would say these people are truly sick. They are truly mass homicidal.
Oh, yeah. Genocidal,
and they
dude.
give zero fucks. They give zero fucks.
Well, and even though she's not running anything except for her freaking dick licker, but it goes back to what Rosa Corey was talking about, and how our world's going to be lorded over by these unelected bureaucrats with their edicts and their mandates that no one actually voted for, but it doesn't stop them from rolling it out.
So how does that not happen?
What is what?
How do these edicts, in terms of being fulfilled, how does that happen? How do we stop that from happening?
The solution, as I always kind of thought, was think globally, act locally, control your local communities, your sheriff, your county commissioners, your health commissioners, etc. And on paper, technically, that should be the move. 10th Amendment states' rights type thing. But these states have been so, and all these people in all these positions have been so bought and sold by federal money, they just roll with it. They just, whether they're elected or unelected, these commissioners, these boards, they get all this fucking federal money, and then they wind up doing the bidding of the feds. regardless of what the citizens say. This goes back to, like, I know I've mentioned this before, the Interstate Commerce Act back in the 50s. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't want I-80 or whatever, Interstate 55 or whatever running through my state. Like, all right, well, you're not getting X amount of millions and millions of dollars. Same thing with the Homeland Security, after 9/11, all the, I'm good. I'm good on the street cameras or all that stuff. All right, well, you're not getting X amount. And that's the same thing they're doing with, this vaccine stuff. Like, oh, you don't want to do it? Oh, okay, you're not. Dude, I live in a very small county here in St. Louis. I'm out in the sticks. I love it. This place, this was during COVID. They got $12 million. And if you don't understand how small where I live, like $12 million goes a long way. But even this out here in the sticks municipality where there's a lot of, good old boys and girls who don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, their leaders, their municipal leaders, their county commissioners, et cetera, have taken X amount of shit tons of federal money. So then enter, mask mandates, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all organized crime, baby. They wind up greasing the skids with that federal money.
So, yeah, well, we know that the climate change wording was in the money that went out, and now people are stuck having to follow that.
Yeah.
And so we'll see some lockdowns based on climate, attempted lockdowns anyway, restriction of energy, restriction of fuel, all those sort of things. But so it just comes down to everybody out there that's listening to this needs to say,
just don't participate. Yeah, just do not participate.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to stay in my 15-minute city. I'm actually going to deliberately leave it every day without my phone, so you can't track me and charge me, and cover your face, and so the cameras are confused on who you are. Ride your bike, whatever you got to do, and just go elsewhere. Go elsewhere.
Well, and again, we've said it so many times. Like, none of this works for them if we participate, or if we don't participate. I'm sorry.
Right.
So our participation is absolutely, but I mean, that's almost kind of the weird boiling frog. It's like they frown on, so many people are so not self-sufficient anymore, where we, like Aldous Huxley said, there's going to come a point in time when we beg for our enslavement. And there's a lot of people who are in that mindset right now, because it's like they have no inclination whatsoever towards self-sufficiency. And, it's the demonization of collecting rainwater and, just all of that kind of stuff, non-heirloom tomatoes. Like, I wanted to grow some tomatoes from the tomatoes I bought from the seeds. Like, nope, these tomatoes don't have seeds, or these lemons don't have seeds. Anyway, they frown upon that shit. And so most people are so, like you just mentioned, Cloward and Pivot. Like, that's the move, man. Get everybody on some kind of government dole to some degree, and frown completely on any kind of self-sufficiency that, you can't live, you can't survive without their UBI or whatever the fuck it is that they're trying to do. So get self-sufficient, ladies and gentlemen, and do not participate. And I meant to say this a second ago. They keep saying, like, oh, there's going to be another pandemic. Don't you worry. There's going to be another one. So it reminds me of that Event 201 when they told us months before COVID happened, like, here's what's about to happen here in a few months. And then, of course, it happened. And then now they're doubling down again, saying, like, oh, no, we're about to have another whatever, whether it's norovirus, whether it's, these new things they keep putting out there, flesh-eating bacteria, whatever the hell it is. Something else is coming, they say.
Speaking of flesh-eating bacteria, did you see the coronation of the king?
I did not.
I didn't see it either, but I do notice and paid attention to the crown. So you can see we know that the British royal family is actually German, right?
Yes. Saxe-Coburg-Gotha.
Yes, Saxe-Coburg-Gotha is the family name, and there are distinct iron crosses, German iron crosses on the crown. You know that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's in your face. And so, yeah, they're just some more pointy-nosed, pointy-eared, Sith lords.
Malachian worshiping Babylonian. Yeah, it's next level, dude. It's next level. And it's weird because, like, I'm not knocking anybody's religion, but I like with the bad PR of the Catholic Church, it's like people still in droves come and see whoever the Pope is talk, or the coronation. Like, oh my God, it's the royal. Like, people still romanticize this nonsense. It's weird to me, dude.
Oh, I know, dude. That used to be on my TV at my house, and I'd look at it and go, get the inbreds off my TV.
Seriously, dude.
Get them off of my TV. I do not. This whole princess, Disney princess tour, all this shit built on these psychopaths, royal family riches and all this garbage. It's just, yeah, no. Make your daughter super, super tough, super self-reliant. They can wear jeans as easily as they can wear dresses, and they can kick ass if they have to. That's the kind of daughters you should be raising.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not inbred daughters.
It's just, I don't know. It's, I mean,
Look at King Charles, dude. Look at King Charles. Just pull up a picture of King Charles and look at him, and zoom in on that poor fucker.
Yeah.
That is inbred as it gets.
Well, and it was, it was not too long ago. There was a big, full-on royal family picture, and like a shit ton of them, grandkids, nieces, nephews, etc. I mean, you had some of them had braces on their legs, and I mean, some of them, one of them's eye, one eye looking at you, one eye looking for you, type shit. Like it was just. It was just a row of, just like you said, just like inbreeding.
It's the same with the Rothschilds.
Yes.
The Rothschilds kept it all in the family.
Yes.
So that nobody would inherit the Rothschild fortune outside of the Rothschilds.
Yeah, and how's that worked for him? I mean, you're right. And
Cousin Ellie is looking mighty fine, Father.
With her third ear. Sexy. Yeah, so King Charles is doing his thing to keep the plebs distracted from all this other shit, man. You see Hunter Biden, they are actually starting to investigate Hunter and Joe, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to, whatever. The thing they're hitting Hunter with is like lying on a gun form or some shit. Nothing having to do with being an unregistered foreign agent for fucking China and Ukraine or anything like that. So I heard someone allude to this, and it's a very good point. They're going to hit him with this dumb shit. While the other shit is in the background, people are going to ask these official people to comment on it. And you know that what they say is like, I can't comment on this because this is an ongoing investigation. And the investigation will be about the initial dumb shit charge, but people will ask about the larger scope of all this other stuff. And they'll be like, no, I can't talk about it because this is all part, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. They're playing games with like the their little, whatever they call that, the whole I can't talk about it because it's under investigation already. But meanwhile, again, these unregistered foreign agents for China, for fucking Russia, for Ukraine are going to get a pass without a doubt.
Dude, can't we just go back to the simple days of Jimmy Carter's brother Billy getting pulled over for drunk driving and shit?
That's like, what's his name's brother? Bill Clinton's brother. I think he wound up passing away, but he was a mess too, dude. He was getting all fucked up. I know Bill, he didn't like cocaine, but he liked the way it smelled. But I know back in the day, they all used to get tossed up. But yeah, back in the day when it was more simple, not, I'm all over the place, but like that Eric Swalwell, you heard of that guy? He was smashing on that Chinese spy named Fang Fang.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, and it isn't a referendum on Trump. Like, you're indicting Trump for paying off that nasty broad Stormy Daniels. Meanwhile, the Bidens and all these other, Pelosi can do some straight up insider trading or selling of stocks because she got a tip and this and that. And Eric Swalwell can still be a free man while smashing on a Chinese spy. And Biden can have documents in an office that he shares with Chinese officials.
Feinstein can have a Chinese spy driver.
Feinstein, next level, dude, next level. And again, that's what lets me know, among other things, that this is the theater of the absurd and the world's a fucking stage, and this is all kind of WWE, because it's like, it's on its face crazy. Like, why are you indicting a former president, good or bad or indifferent, whatever you think about him, while these current motherfuckers are doing straight gangster shit and getting a pass?
But it's not a crime to pay somebody off so they don't talk bad about you.
Well, I mean, but they framed it in some kind of like, he didn't pay back Cohen. It was some campaign. They made it way more than what it was because it was a misdemeanor and they made it into a felony. I mean, it's just all bullshit. While, literally these guys, whatever it is, Hillary's emails, Biden shit, Obama. I mean, they all get a fucking pass. That's why, we've talked about this. Like, what purpose does this serve? Are they trying to piss off the right? I mean, I don't know. I'm curious as to what the end game of this is, because it's just like, all right, you quote unquote won. Trump's not president anymore. I know you don't want him to run again, etc. But it's just like you're giving all this other shit a pass while you're totally in the rearview mirror, orange man bad type shit. It's insane, quite insane.
And in other news, Mark Zuckerberg is now competing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
He won a tournament the other day, dude. That was crazy.
He won a tournament.
I was wondering, do you think he won, or do you think he's like, dude, I'm gonna give you a fucking cool $10 million. Let me
whatever. Yeah.
Let me throw this rear naked on you and get my arm raised so I can get some freaking pub on the Twitters or the online.
You know,
I would have did that. I would have taken a cool fucking couple million from that fucker to get choked out. Fuck yeah.
You know what I'd do? I'd agree to the terms and then fuck him up.
But he wouldn't give you the money until afterwards. I'd like, if you
just choke the living shit out of it. Yeah. And then polish my nails on my shirt and walk off the mat.
Treat him like you two were on a New York subway.
Which, yeah, everybody's going nuts in New York apparently about that one, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know the full context, but the guy apparently came on talking like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna kill y'all. I don't care if I go to jail or if I die. He's like threatening people. Then somebody, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the full video. Well, and then it's like, did they come? It was racist, blah, blah, blah. What about the brother that jumped in with the guy from the Marines that was, dropping some freaking 5-finger shuffle on the guy? It's like, it wasn't just some white dude. They omitted the fact that a brother jumped in to freaking handle some business too.
Well, they'll frame it any way they need to cause riots and everything else. Division, right?
Without a doubt.
But the thing is that guy that died broke a 67-year-old woman's jaw and kidnapped a 7-year-old child, amongst other things that he's done. He's got a rap sheet a mile long of constant violence against other human beings. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time where you run into somebody who's going to, hurt you or do you in.
No, without a doubt. And again, they hijacked the freaking narrative with, whatever it is, just omitting just the fact that a brother jumped in, the fact that this guy has a criminal record, the fact that he was threatening people on the train. And I'm telling you what, dude, I haven't like watching this shit, but for whatever reason, this algorithm I get into where I still watch it. I should turn it off, but like teachers, like this girl sprayed mace in her teacher's face because the teacher took her phone. And like the kids fighting teachers and these just random acts of violence going on. And it's like, when I lived in Chicago, bro, I don't know if I've talked about this on the but you know me, I'm a country mouse. I'm a fucking Iowa guy. I like quiet, chill shit. So when I was in Chicago, it was like exhausting because you're like constantly on because it's Chicago. But I'm seeing these videos, man, of just, I don't know if anybody saw it was in New York. It was a bodega in New York. This guy had exchanged words with this guy on a bodega in New York. He turns around to walk out. The guy shoots him in the fucking head. And then the guy who shoots him still has his food in his hand, slowly walks out the door, sees the guy's moving, shoots him again, walks out, comes back in, goes through his pockets. Anyway, there are some career criminals out there who will body you in a fucking second, man. So any of these times where I see people, I don't know, I'm jumping all over the place, but this guy who was with his kid at a Starbucks, and this guy was vaping right next to him. And he's like, hey, dude, can you not vape next to me and my kid? He sits there and fucking stabs the guy to death in front of his wife and kid. My point is, it's, I'm not saying don't intervene necessarily, but be very, very mindful of the situations you might attempt to intervene in to try to do some fucking Captain America type shit, because people will kill you in a fucking heartbeat. Again, downtown St. Louis a few weeks ago, this homeless guy sitting on a curb and this dude standing behind him trying to get his gun right because it's jamming up and shit. He literally just points the gun at the guy's head and just blasts him. Just on the street right here in St. Louis, dude.
Did that guy get arrested for doing that?
He did. But I'm just saying, this scourge is everywhere, and it's really, really tripping me out with the kids, man. These kids, and when I say kids, like from 18 to basically 25, street fights turning into straight gun violence. I know everybody's seen the Waffle House melee where the Waffle House employee caught the chair that was thrown on him like a damn ninja. I'm just saying, man, shit's going off the rails. And shit in Chicago that happened a few weeks ago. Hundreds of kids, which obviously had to be coordinated, running down Michigan Avenue, stomping on the bus, stomping on people's cars. But, Beetlejuice, old Lightfoot's like, why are you guys saying this is fucking mayhem? This isn't mayhem. I don't know what that bitch's definition of mayhem is, but that's definitely mayhem. And like I've said on the show before, when the bodies start fucking stacking, then the story's going to turn a little different. But right now, no one's clapping back. And honestly, whatever side that isn't doing this has been very patient for a very, very long time. But people's patience are only going to last for so fucking long because all these just unwarranted, unsolicited, just random acts of violence out here are just, chicken's going to come home to roost on that shit sooner than later.
Well, everybody just continue to stock up on food, learn how to grow food, all of that stuff. It's not that difficult. It takes a little bit of work, a little bit of prep, and you can grow your own food. You don't need to use the compost from the county facility because that's going to come with lawn clippings with tons of synthetics in it, as well as the human compost from the waste facility, which has pharmaceuticals and on top of that, a lot of other chemicals from the water you're probably getting your drinking water from.
Yes.
So do your best to do your own compost. Any meals you eat, any leftover vegetables, meat, eggshells, all that sort of stuff, and lawn clippings without, using
Yes.
all the chemicals on your lawn. Grow dandelions. They're awesome for you. You can make dandelion tea, and it helps with blood pressure, and a lot of other things. Anti-inflammatory, big time.
Well,
So-
you have made, if you down to talk about it, you have made a move recently where you have full on access to acreages and acreages where you guys are really, really getting your self sufficiency on, aren't you? Chickens, the whole nine.
Yeah, a lot of chickens, huge garden, food forest, 400 trees being planted in about 2 weeks, and a lot of fruit trees, a lot of berry trees, a lot of that sort of stuff. And there's already a ton of plum and other berry trees on the property, so it's going to be just literally just an orchard, a garden with a food forest with 6 beehives to start. About roughly 60,000 bees.
Jeez.
And so, that's about 150 pounds of honey a year. And so, yeah, no, it's going to be just an amazing kind of oasis in the middle of the country amongst, cornfields and bean fields and all that sort of stuff. So, no, it's going to be badass and a lot of work, but getting it
Of
once
course.
once it's up and running, it's self-sufficient. It's going to produce massive amounts of food, and then it comes down to just being able to can it and also be able to potentially distribute it to other people that need it.
That's awesome, man. That's so awesome. I know you were really excited to get up there and get started on that, and it's cool to see it actually coming to fruition without a doubt.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good, and Super Soldier's finally starting to really take off, and I actually might be able to pay my bills, Jeff.
Listen, man, I know we, as being able to support the farm, we want you guys to always, check out our sponsors. We always list them in the description of the videos here, but I shit you not, dude. I've been on Super Soldier for maybe a little over a month and a half. I forget when I got my first bottle, and
Okay.
I called you or texted you. I was just like, bro. I mean, it's not like tweaker kind of energy at all. I mean, it's not even, it's hard to describe. You're just firing.
Your cells are alive.
Your
man.
cell-
Your
your-
mitochondrial functioning.
Dude, you were firing on all. I work a pretty labor intensive job, and I'm going like 8 hours. I'm fucking doing cardio for like 8 hours most of the time at my job. But it's like I'm going, and I'm not like I'm not young, but I'm not old, but I'm not like sore. The shit is dope, dude. Super Soldier, check it out. Like we'll have a link in the thing. But if you care about, break it down again, champ. What is it exactly? Fulvic humic. It's just.
It's a.
I don't want to turn it
fulvic
into an
acid.
infomercial, but it is absolutely fucking the dopest dope, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so the fulvic humic acid comes from what's been so far found as the most nutrient-rich peat bog found in the world so far, and it is the concentrated nutrients of basically over 1,000 types of plants that have decomposed for 60,000 years, concentrated into a really really fine powder. And I'll tell you you want to hear some crazy stuff. But this substance has been combined with true organic vitamin C in veggie caps. So they're true veggie caps. So there's no fillers, no chemicals, no bullshit. The organic vitamin C is a very powerful antioxidant as well. So the two combined make for a pretty potent, cleansing agent of the cells and activator of the mitochondria, which are the furnace of the cells. All that good stuff's happening. But I spent 2 hours on a video call with quantum physics expert out in California who has been experimenting with the fulvic humic in his water. So a lot of people think that water restructuring is bullshit. Well, it's not. I mean, I've witnessed some crazy stuff. Frequencies happen with water, with vortex machines and other things, and it's not even. I won't even get into it because most people won't comprehend it and they won't believe it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But his device will restructure water. That he has basically found that there are 11 different molecular structures of water that he has seen so far through frequencies from its original form. And to be honest with you, this guy's so educated on water that he doesn't even think it is water.
This is who we had on last week, right?
Yeah, Joseph. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, he has perfected a water molecule that captures light at all different angles, bond angles. And so it has literally a halo of electrons, of light electrons circling around the water molecules. And that is energy. And so when you drink it or put it in soil, your crops, it creates some spectacular results, to say the least. Now, when he combined the fulvicumic with it, and he was trying to drive lasers through it, he couldn't put lasers even into it at all, which he found pretty amazing. Then he diluted it more and more and more and continued to try and put lasers through it and got a laser to penetrate, I think, eventually 2 inches into the water. But the thing that's interesting, he said, you realize that I judge fulvicumics in a lot of different ways. One of them is the size of the molecule structure, and you've got a fulvicumic here that is probably 2 to 3 atoms wide, the molecules. So it's absolutely tiny, and that's why it has the ability to go into the cells and aid with mitochondrial function, cellular function, remove toxins, all those sort of things out of the not toxins, but synthetics and heavy metals, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And so that's the beginning phases of what we've been doing, but we're going to combine silica and some other things with the fulvicumic in his water and do some incredible agriculture stuff. And, that's the silica being super important for filling in the holes in. So when you have osteoporosis or calcium deficiency, that's not actually the case. You have a silica deficiency because it's the silica that's supposed to fill in the gaps in the bones to make the bones strong. So you have a silica deficiency. So by adding the silica into the agriculture stuff, products, then we're going to end up getting a lot more silica in people's diets as well.
Well, and I remember you saying, like, it's for any malady that our body develops, it's based off of like inflammation. I remember Dr. Rhonda Patrick, who's on Joe Rogan a lot, talked about polymorphisms. It's just different. We're all deficient in different things, and that manifests differently in our body. But at the root cause is inflammation. And so when you start taking such a powerful antioxidant like this, it goes to the root of that shit. And, like you talked about, people are just getting off medicines that they've been on forever because they're attacking the root of what the malady is, which is ultimately inflammation.
Exactly. Well, and we want you to always consult with your professional physicians before taking action on any supplementation.
Well, fucking doctors care is the third leading cause of death in this country. So sometimes you got to roll the fucking dice. And, whether it's naturopath, this kind of stuff's been around for it's a very long time. So I'll take my chances with, things that have been proven to work, as opposed to what we talked about on the show, feeding ourselves poison with just food and then having developed all these freaking different maladies because of the inflammation, all that shit it causes. And then we go to the pharmaceutical companies to ingest more fucking poison. It's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, long story short, man, supersoldier.com. Check that out. We'll have a link in the thing here, and it's next level stuff. So anyway, on with more news. I just saw breaking news. Trump was found liable for sexual assault, but not rape. I don't know if that's a thing. I just seeing my Twitter here, but RFK Jr. has entered the presidential race, and in my humble opinion, is going to stomp a mud hole. Not to say I'm a fan of RFK Jr.
There's not going to be any debates.
And again, that's
debates, bro.
Yeah, when they said that again lets you know that they're covering for my boy, and it's all whatever. It's really, we can't debate. That's the whole point. The voting populace wants to hear these people articulate their point on this issue and this issue. To say there's no debates, what the fuck?
They did the same thing to Kerry Lake in Arizona.
Yeah, that's.
There was no debates. What was it? Katie Hobbs, is that her name?
Yeah. The chick who was a Secretary of State in charge of running the election. Yeah, nothing to see here.
I just have no idea how Americans are letting this continue. At some point, people have to actually stand up. It's just.
No, you're absolutely right. And I was having a talk with a friend. and I'm not saying this across the board because I have it and you have it, and I know we know a lot of people who have it, but that fighting spirit has been beaten out of a lot of us, dude. We're so fucking soft and comfortable now. Our phone works.
It's been farmed. It's been farmed.
Yeah, it's been farmed. No pun intended. Our phone works. My streaming services work. My refrigerator is chilling and cooling my food. Like it's like, you know, I'm pissed about it, but somebody else is gonna deal with it. Somebody else got it. And you're right. I don't know how long or what it's gonna be. You remember that movie Falling Down? And I'm not advocating gun violence, but the motherfucker was pissed off and just couldn't get breakfast that morning. Couldn't get breakfast. That was his falling down moment. But I think, again, not to say go out and start shooting people, but euphemistically or metaphorically, people are having their falling down moment more and more because it's just like the level of frustration is just through the roof. Because people are starting to catch on.
I know. Here's the moment when it all comes crashing down. With the U.S. government talking about freezing American bank withdrawals, you know, as people start, you know, panicking and starting to, you know, withdraw, you know, larger and larger sums of money out of their bank accounts. And I will tell people this, a solution: take your money, go to the local pawn shops and buy silver and gold if they've got it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's whatever you can buy, go and do it. I'm telling you that right now. And go to tcfgold.com and get a free pamphlet emailed to you so that you can learn how to convert your, you know, Roth RIAs and other retirement plans converted over to gold and silver so that you are protected. And there's a huge tax loophole also, so go to tcfgold.com for that stuff and get that done. I mean, if I was loaded right now, which I'm not, I know I would be sitting on massive amounts of silver and gold.
Well, I read a Google report that you're worth $6 million, so don't lie to your boy, please.
17 million.
Was it?
Correct.
Oh my God, I cut you short.
17 million, Jeffery. Yeah, let me look it up real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, and again, going back to what you were saying, it's not a matter of if, it's really when they do what they're doing to the dollar, to the point, going back to the Weimar Republic, where you have wheelbarrows full of Deutschmarks to buy bread. We won't be able to buy you shit pretty soon. So yeah, definitely get your dollars into tangible assets, whatever those are. And TCFGold.com.
Net worth. I'm going to take you for a ride. There we go. Oh, my net worth has dropped to $3 million, Jeffrey.
Damn, bro. Broke as fuck. Dang.
Yeah. So, hold on. Wait, there was another one here. Maybe they're closer. Let me see.
Dang, they taxing the champ. What's up with that?
Well, you know. But ultimately, I think it comes down to, you know, when the dollar collapses and they replace your money with digital CBD, you know, the central bank digital currency, that, wait a minute, net worth 100,000 to 1 million. Okay, they're getting closer.
They're getting closer.
Hold on, here we go. How much money does Pat Miletich make? Here we go. A lot of people really fucking nosy, huh?
I don't know. Everyone's very fascinated by how much people make. And it's always one of those. I heard that
it's not going to matter. Besides the uber wealthy,
yeah,
who have, you know, trust funds and all that. I don't care if you're worth $5 million. You're going to be in deep shit here pretty soon.
Well, I always find it interesting, and someone brought this up, and I never really thought about it. That people usually, hey, so what do you do for a living? It's not that they give a fuck. They just want to be able to, you know, determine how they treat you and judge you, right? Hey, I'm a fucking garbage man. Like, oh, you're a garbage man. Cool. Oh, I'm a CEO at a fucking software company. Like, oh, really? Let's go fucking have a drink. You know, I mean, it just changes it. For some people, it just changes totally how you talk to them, treat them, etc. But, yeah,
let's see.
I don't know if we brought this up already, but when that Cash App guy was killed by a friend he was hanging out with that night, which was weird. The next day, they announced that Fed Now, which is basically like the Federal Reserve version of the Cash App. Did you hear about that?
Huh?
The guy who founded Cash App was killed, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the next day or two, the Federal Reserve announced basically their version of Cash App called Fed Now. I'm not saying it was necessarily tied together, but the timing is interesting because I found it weird that the Cash App CEO was hanging out with the guy that killed him later that night. So I don't know if it was a hit or not still, but the timing is just crazy that they announced this Fed Now thing, which is, again, part of the CBDC.
Right. So I just want to say that this website, who is Pat Miletich dating now? Says the American MMA fighter was okay. As of 2023, Pat Miletich is not dating anyone. Pat is 57 years old. According to Celebs Couples, Pat had at least one relationship previously. He has not been okay.
All right, we're not going to turn this into a TMZ version of the farm. We're going to wind this up here in a minute.
This is the Inquirer.
Yes, because
which is actually more accurate than all the news combined today.
It is weird how the Inquirer has become more and more reliable. That is kind of fucked up, right?
Dude, remember when it was the UFOs and all that sort of shit?
Oh, no. Is Bigfoot pregnant or is Bigfoot psychic? Or, it was just like, yeah, that was in the grocery stores. But it's interesting how that game done changed. And, that's more reliable than fucking mainstream news. Right. We didn't talk.
We have devolved into madness. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Before we wind up, a couple more things. Tucker Carlson being fired or let go, and Don Lemon on the same day. Thoughts on either of those two things happening?
I think that they're both CIA paid actors. It doesn't matter. I think it's all about division. I think that I don't know. I mean, think about it. Fox News, come on. We know they're in the bag too.
Rupert Murdoch, yeah.
It is what it is.
And I guess he has an NDA or not a non-compete clause for like a year or so. Not an NDA. But do you think he's going to start his own network, if you will, and spread his, the real truth with Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon doing the same thing?
Well, if he wants to spread the real truth, he'd friggin' have us on his friggin' network.
Yes.
But he's not gonna, so it's not the real truth.
Well, that's probably true. And
I will say, though, that Tucker Carlson has actually reported on some shit that was true, right?
No, without a doubt. I heard a couple of clips. They were like, this is why he was fired. And he was just like basically saying how Congress is all controlled by intelligence agencies. And I'm like, well, yeah, not just U.S. intelligence agencies. And I mean, he supposedly said something about Building 6 and stuff like that. So, I mean, the broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Yes, sir.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see what happens to those two. But anyway, before we close out, RFK Jr., we alluded to a minute ago. I was watching Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson the other day, and he was on. It was a very interesting interview. And he said, RFK Jr. says, by 1960, even by the time my uncle became president, it was almost impossible to distinguish where the CIA ended and the mafia began. I found that an interesting statement, and even more so today or yesterday, he just came out and said on like all news networks that I think I saw it on Fox, the CIA was involved in the killing of my dad and my uncle. So what are your thoughts on that? Him running? I do believe, it's been long enough where I think a lot of the kids that today don't get those Camelot days, or even how they romanticize the Kennedys. I don't know if that's a lost thing, but I think they're going to kind of try to revive that nostalgic Kennedy time, and he's definitely going to lean into like, no, I'm the outsider. See, they killed my mom or my dad and my uncle. So what do you think about him running, chances against Biden, and him leaning so hard into, talking so much shit already?
Hammer and scorecard.
Hammer
and scorecard. That's all I have to say about him coming close to or beating Biden, or if he does beat Biden, if they allow him to beat Biden, whatever the case may be. I can say this, that if he truly is an outsider, they'll kill him too.
That's what I was going to say. Do you think he'll suffer the same fate? But that is pretty much it. If he is for real, an outsider, he'll suffer the same fate.
I want to know what his respiratory issues are with his speech.
See, I've heard, and I don't know this for sure, that it's a vaccine injury. That's why he's so outspoken about vaccines. One of the reasons he's outspoken about vaccines.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, with the last 3.5 years, dude, has, I hope, woken the vast majority of people up. It's, we're still seeing a lot of people that aren't awake, but there's a lot of people that have woke up to the fact that, while they ridiculed you and I for quite a long time, I think many have come to their senses and said, fuck, these guys have been right the whole time, right? They might not say it publicly, but I know they're saying in their head, yeah, those guys were right.
Yeah, and it's really hard to quantify it, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, even in our absence or as long as we've been doing this, I think it's really, really cool. I don't look at it as competition at all. I mean, not that we're better or you're not. I'm just seeing a lot of these shows, more and more podcasts where people are having these kind of conversations, where more and more people are getting hip to not just like current events and how fucked up it is, but just how deep the rabbit hole goes, man. They're going beyond like the surface level of obviously mainstream news or different events. They're actually starting to put these freaking pieces together. There's some big pieces, and a lot of them go back a long ways. But I mean, I'm really heartened to see not just conspiracy shows, but like whatever the show's name is called, where the topics of conversation are, you know, about geopolitical shit, exchanging ideas, questioning reality, if you will. So I'm really.
Well, I had somebody who I respect a great deal. We were holding a conversation the other day, and they said, you know, being right is about ego.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, now I do agree with that on the surface, but the truth is the fucking truth. Okay? So I and you have both tried to search for the truth where most people are not willing to go. But the truth is the truth. And if the truth costs, you know, my nation to implode, if it costs my children's future, well, yeah, fuck your ego. And ego has nothing to do with ego. It has to do with saving my children's future. Maybe that's not all on my shoulders. I get that because I'm not powerful enough to do that. But as one person speaking out, and you and I starting this show, hopefully we've created a wave, ripple effect, you know, in some way, shape, or form in our own way that has served purposeful to mankind and Americans, hopefully saving the last vestige on Earth from the slithering, bottom-dwelling predators. From completely destroying this nation, which it's, I think, on the brink of. But, you know, either way, that conversation, it you know, while, you know, I remained pretty calm, it pissed me off. It pissed me off because in this context of when it comes to our children's future and this nation's future, it's not about ego. It's about the truth. And if you're, you know, anybody who is somebody who says you're a constitutional based person, the First Amendment means that you believe in the truth. And the search for the truth, as painful as it may be, is something that has to take place in your life, your children's life, your spouse's life, and the people around you. And if the people around you abandon you because you are searching for the truth, well, then fuck them. That they're not ready for it. That's just the way it is. But it's, you know, if you can sense a little bitterness in my voice, I mean, there is some, because we've had to, you know, witness being surrounded by a lot of cowards who wouldn't stand up for their children's freedom, and it's very frustrating, dude.
No, without a doubt, man, without a doubt, and it's.
I went on evangelical.
No. I mean, it's you probably, people are probably sitting there like, very well said, and you probably took the words out of a lot of people's mouth. It's just probably can't articulate it as well. It's just, it is beyond frustrating, dude. It's beyond frustrating to see it go down, and like I said, be gaslit and be told, no, this isn't fucking happening. This. Don't believe your lying eyes, and people who, like you said, castigate us and talk shit to us for even asking questions, and like look down upon us for asking questions and just having a different view on reality than maybe they have. But like, dude, we used to get, I mean, we still get messages, but back during the fucking full Monty days of COVID, and we were just pumping shit out, we were getting messages and emails a lot, and even afterwards, people were just, you helped me get through COVID type shit. You taught me about asymmetrical warfare, and they would use language like, you helped change my life. And it's very, very weird and humbling to me, because I'm literally sitting here in my office talking to my microphone in this little room here, not talking to my boy. And I know the numbers. I know we reach out to a lot of people, but I just don't. I don't know. It takes things like that for me to really resonate to me, what you and I do and what we have done and the effect it does have. Obviously, that's not, we want to wake people's minds up and shit like that, but we're not like high-fiving ourselves because we get messages like, that's not necessarily our point. But to get those kind of messages, it's very humbling, and it lets me know we've done some cool shit. And if this is for me, you've done some, really cool shit. Heavyweight, or welterweight champion, Hall of Famer. But if this is like
that's not. But that's just.
I know. As far as life accomplishments, I'm saying if this has to be one of the biggest accomplishments that I have to put my stamp on for my life, I'm with it, dude. I'm with it. It has been an absolute fucking pleasure and honor doing this show with you for so many years. And it's so serendipitous how it happened, dude. Back before the internet, I wanted to do a newsletter called The Conspiracy Theory, and when it was newsletter, physical shit. And I never did it. I mean, I did kind of start it out, but it never happened. So when you're like, hey, you want to do a show called The Conspiracy Farm? I mean, you know how I was already rolling, a conspiracy-minded guy. It was so serendipitous, man. So, yeah, I'm glad we took this step, and I think a lot of people are glad too. A lot of followers we have that have expressed that, man.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope so, and so we will be back. Let's try and get an episode done next week as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll have a guest on. I've got a couple of guests for us that I can talk about here.
I got a potential biggin that I told you about that I'm waiting to get her locked in, but it's pretty enormous. I'll just say that. Yeah,
and so Kevin Tuttle over at Robert Scott Bell's show, he's got Ava Chen who wants to come on the show. She's, of course, from China. And talking about, she is exposing and spilling the beans on the Chinese Communist Party infiltration into literally almost all the agencies in our country. And
nice.
And when I said to him, it is my personal belief that the Joint Chiefs of Staff have been compromised, he goes, undoubtedly.
I mean, from the top to the bottom. I mean, this goes back to, I remember Roosevelt, like his Secretary of Transport. I mean, the infiltration has been going on for so long. Deep into Roosevelt's administration. That was in the 30s. So just let you give you an idea how long this has been going on.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like at some point, people have to realize, look, we're all going to die someday. That's, but we might as well, while we're here, stand up for what's right and for our children, and stop being afraid. Stop being afraid of these bottom-dwelling pieces of shit and start standing up for what's right for our kids. Look into your children's eyes. That's what I ask people to do. Stare into your children's eyes and then go look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, like, what you could do today. Go to a school board meeting and stand up for your children. Go to a city council meeting, stand up for your kids. Stand up to what's going on. Stand up to the cowards within school boards, within city government, county government, state government, the federal government, the cowards, the compromised cowards who just refuse to stand up and push back.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I would say for people to do is go look at your children, man. Because when I look at my children and I think about the future, if we don't stand up, man, you talk about, you want a nightmare? That's your nightmare for tonight, right?
Live on your feet or die on your knees.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Took the words out of my mouth.
Champ, it has been a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, follow the farm, Conspiracy Farm, at Conspiracy Farm 1 on Twitter. Support the farm. Check out the links below to pick up anything that we are slanging these days. And stay tuned. We got some more heat coming. Much love, you guys. Peace.